I accept that as a minister, what I did was wrong under Section 165. But if you're not a minister,
yeah, correct.
Would it still be wrong?
Yeah. And then under 165, right? He's just very specifically said that as a minister, what I did was wrong under Section 165. He did not just say I did something wrong, you know?
Yeah. Oh, he didn't say.
Yeah.
It's like when I think Facebook was kind of forced by the Singapore government to put that correction notice. You know, Facebook has been instructed by the Singapore government.
Yeah, that's right.
To to point out that some of this info might be false.
Before the next episode of the Yellowbud podcast, here's a message from Folklory. If I were to ask you who you love and are thankful for, you probably can give me a list of names. But do they know how much you really appreciate them? Have you ever told them personally? We know this doesn't happen often, even for us personally. And that's why we started Folklory. If you would like to say a big thanks to a loved one, we'll interview you over a call and turn that conversation into a podcast that they can listen to on their own. We'll make it as conversational and as easy as possible, and it can be done in as little as 1 week. For more info, check out folklory.com or click on the link in the description. And now, on to the podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terrence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man. How was the weekend, man?
It was pretty fulfilling weekend.
Wow.
Long, tiring.
What was fulfilled?
A lot of children's activities, visits to a zoo, swimming pools, stuff like that. Yeah.
And which one did you enjoy the most? The zoo.
Sleep was the best. You know how it goes, right?
I know, man. And I'm only like 1 month into this.
Yeah. Even like 3 hours of sleep in one night is like very good already. I felt great. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard from quite a few friends like the feeling of like being able to just go into bed like early and all. It's like wow, it's like a luxury, like.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the uninterrupted 6 hours or 7 hours of sleep, like just like in the BMT days, right?
Yeah.
When you would be forced to sleep for 6-7 hours.
Oh, that one.
Fucking like, you don't need to force me anymore, man. I wish I could have it.
Yeah, but overall, good weekend, like. Good weekend.
Yeah, of course. Great weekend.
Good weekend. But yeah, man. Like,
you?
I mean, for me, I don't know where the weekend went also, but same thing. Because now there's still all the overnight feeds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you kind of lose track of time.
Yeah.
You lose track of when you should brush your teeth and shower. But slowly, I mean, it's improving. But just today, the cycle changed again already.
Okay.
So I have to reset.
So that's your excuse for being unkempt, basically, the next couple of months.
I mean, I will try my best to not let it be obvious. That's why I cut my hair.
Important.
Yeah, if I didn't cut my hair, holy shit, man.
Very troublesome.
Yeah. Because like you wanna. I finally understand why you cannot wash your hair at night also if you got long hair. You faced that last time also.
Because you just take too long to
dry lah.
Yeah.
And if you sleep with hair wet and all, it's not good.
Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah, taking anything more than like 10 minutes to dry your hair is just crazy to me.
Yeah. So thank God, I mean, crazy to you now that you have short hair again.
Now that I've done it already.
Now same, man. At least I scratched the itch. But yeah, man.
But I mean, generally uneventful weekend in terms of news and all that. Big news around the world. I
mean, for football, I thought Ten Hag was going to get sacked.
Oh, no. They salvaged the weekend.
Salvaged a draw.
With a 0-0 draw.
0-0
how
draw.
far, people are just talking about how far you've fallen, that a 0-0 draw is a good result.
Oh, clean sheet.
Against Crystal Palace. Whoa.
Yeah, holy shit. Amazing. I mean, on Friday, the one big news was that Ong Beng Seng appeared in court.
Yeah.
Right? Which I guess we can talk about because the first topic is tangentially related to that.
Yeah. But today is 7th October, right?
Oh, yeah.
Essentially, it's a whole year since the Israel, what do you call it?
Since Hamas attack.
Attack. So, yeah, it's also a very big so-called anniversary.
Whole year.
Yeah, 1 whole year since, man.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, a lot of things around the world, right? You know, the elections in the US ramping up and Hamas attacks and things like that, right?
Yeah.
And Israel, Lebanon, Israel, Iran.
I mean, just last night, I think Israel launched their biggest attack on Beirut in Lebanon.
Yeah. And Israel starting to even call out like the Western powers who
French, Macron, right?
Yeah. So a lot going on there. But in Singapore, we're still
grappling
with another very big eye.
Fallout.
Big eye.
The big eye.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking, what is the first eye? Oh, okay, another big eye.
The big eye.
But before that, what's our spiel, Terence?
If you're new to this podcast, welcome. And please remember to like, share, follow, subscribe, because that trains the algorithm that this content is good for you.
Yeah, and if you want to work with us, just reach us at ministryoffunny.com. Drop us a message, send us an email at contact@ministryoffunny.com, and let's see if we can make some magic happen.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So jumping right into it, today marks a very special, unprecedented day, right?
Yeah.
When an ex-minister of Singapore has surrendered himself for his jail sentence.
And it's hot off the press, right?
Yeah.
The news came out barely an hour ago. It is. Would you like to give the TLDR?
It was that Iswaran himself has put out a statement on his Facebook page on Monday, 7th October, that he will not be appealing the sentence handed down by the court. And he also put in a statement that, as he begins serving his sentence today, he wishes to say that it was very important that the public prosecutor amended the charges against him under the Prevention of Corruption Act to those under Section 165 of the Penal Code regarding the acceptance of gift by public servants. And then, there's more. Then after that, there are a few more paragraphs where he talks about he accepts that as a minister what he did was wrong. He takes responsibility for his actions and apologizes to Singaporeans. He talks about his family's well-being and not wanting to drag it any further for them. And he looks to put the pain and anguish behind him. And he also thanks those who have stood by him, including, friends and grassroots leaders. And basically, he ended off by saying, serving constituents and Singaporeans over the past 3 decades has been the greatest honor of my life. As this chapter of my life comes to a close, my family and I look to the future with gratitude and renewed hope.
So, Terence, I just asked for TLDR.
But the truth is...
No, but you just read out his whole Facebook post.
I tried to do a TLDR, but I thought all the points I mentioned, each of them are worth breaking down a little bit, right?
Okay.
Because you look at this, you look at his page, right?
Yeah.
He's got this statement today. He had a statement at the end of September just saying that he can't say anything. And the last statement's 18th January, where literally the first line is, I reject the charges and the allegations against me. So how quickly things have changed now, right? That's been the hallmark of this entire case. So that's why I thought, words are important. This one, we've got to break it down a little bit more.
Yeah, I was waiting to just give a little bit of trivia because I wanted to ask, do you know what the S in Iswaran stands for?
Subramaniam.
Holamak. I didn't know that until I Googled it.
I know a lot about Indian names and everything.
Subramaniam.
Apparently more than you.
Yeah, definitely more than me. But then on his Facebook post, he actually limits who can comment on the post.
Correct. Yeah.
But actually that's true. There have been very limited statements from him. But when I can't recall what exactly we said on the last episode where we were trying to predict whether or not he would appeal. But when you saw this title, what came to mind? Like the news that he's not going to appeal?
I think you mentioned that you don't think that he was going to appeal, right?
Okay. Yeah, maybe. But you were more...
I thought that they would surely, do something because, they've got... in the end, the sentence wasn't in their favor, right? The sentence was way above what they asked for, way above what even the prosecution asked for. So I thought that they would surely pull some legal, do something, to challenge the legality of this.
So you thought because it was a lot more than what the prosecution was even asking?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's already been dragging on for a while already. So if he's going to start serving the sentence, might as well just put in the appeal. But so I'm quite surprised that he's not appealing.
So now is it right for me to say I'm not surprised? Because I said it on the previous podcast. I'm not just flexing like you always accuse me of flexing.
Now, could you say you're not surprised?
Because there's documented proof in the last episode that I said I don't think he'll be appealing.
Okay, you can say you're not surprised.
You're not going to...
Yeah, give it to you. I give it to you. You've been away for so long, you need
some validation.
Some validation.
Thanks, man, Terence. Thanks.
Aside from the people calling you out the moment you came back to the podcast.
That's right? True. Yeah. For mistaking the nationality of those TikTokers.
Correct.
But now I guess we can dive into his statement because he did say a lot in quite a concise way.
Yeah.
He was very open that what he did was wrong under Section 165. And he did clarify that the charges against him of corruption were the ones he wanted to clear, which actually I think when the judgment was made, Justice Wong Justice Wong, right?
No,
Justice
I don't think
Vincent
it's Wong.
Fong.
Yeah, Fong, I think.
Vincent Fong, yeah. He kind of like pointed out that the fact that it was a tactical choice to deny the charges initially was something that, Iswaran has to bear the consequences of.
Yeah.
But now what Iswaran is saying is that for him, the biggest thing that he wanted to deny was not, in essence, all the charges. It was just to clear his name of corruption. Because right now, on paper, black and white, no one can accuse him of being corrupt.
That's right.
Right. It's just that he took some gifts.
Correct.
Right.
But that's why I think it's important that it was important that I quoted exactly what he said. He said, it was important to me that the public prosecutor amended the charges against me under the Prevention of Corruption Act. Because essentially, he's not making a definitive statement, I'm not corrupt, I'm not this, I'm not that, or, see, I'm not like, I wasn't what you guys said I was, He just said it was important to me, He's registering it like, infer from it what you will. Infer from it what you will, but it was important to me that this concession was made. So there's a lot between the lines when he writes that.
I mean, yeah, I guess if you dig deep, because I accept that as a minister, what I did was wrong under Section 165. But if you're not a minister,
yeah, correct,
would it still be wrong?
Yeah, and then under 165, right? He's just very specifically said that as a minister, what I did was wrong under Section 165. He did not just say I did something wrong, Yeah.
Oh, he didn't say.
Yeah.
It's like when I think Facebook was kind of forced by the Singapore government to put that correction notice. Facebook has been instructed by the Singapore government.
Yeah, that's right.
To to point out that some of this info might be false.
So So I accept that what I did was wrong under Section 165.
But then, if you think about it, like he did also say that one thing he was not, he did not want to do was to drag this out, because my family's well-being and emotional tone of my loved ones of a long trial extending well into 2025 and possibly beyond has also weighed heavily on me. These past 15 months have already been most difficult. And I mean, that you can understand, right? If he wanted to drag it out, it will be a long time.
Yeah.
His name would probably be, coming up in a negative light for a longer period of time. This one, the fact that I think people were expecting this to go on for like 50 plus days, is it, this trial?
Yeah. I mean, not 50 plus
days. Can be longer,
months,
right?
Yeah, even a year, 2 years.
So in some way, if you can understand his decision, like okay, it already got a lot more severe. If he's going to appeal, what happens if his appeal fails? And then now it's almost like, okay, first day, close chapter, and in a month, the focus is going to be on Peter. With his trial coming up, right?
Yeah.
And you can almost, that I assume that Pritham, in his case, he would, fight hard, he would appeal. Whereas then it's almost like, okay, of course, this is another leap,
Yeah.
But I think what Iswaran did and the message I was surprised by the Facebook post, how kind of like accepting he was that he did something wrong,
Well, you finish your thought there. What's the leap again?
Oh, the leap is that in some way, the leap here is that his decision was, of course, with the advice of his legal counsel and whomever else.
Yeah.
And in some way, with the elections coming up.
Okay.
No, because all this, this is a leap.
Okay,
it's a leap. I'm looking at the camera, it's a leap.
Yeah.
But because for me, this kind of thing, you can't look at it in isolation.
Okay.
So this, in the tapestry that's going through in my mind, it feels like, okay, kind of makes sense from the bigger picture.
Got it.
Yeah.
Let me go change into my swimming shorts, because I'm going to accept the wave of criticism that's going to come against me for saying, hey, why you make that leap? Again.
No, but why would there be criticism towards you?
No, a lot of people are saying that, I mean, at least in the last podcast, right? People are saying it's so obvious, what Harish is saying. The other guy keeps saying that it's a leap, like he trying to deny it because mouthpiece and things. Shit,
is it?
A little bit of that, that vibe.
Oh, I didn't see that comment.
Yeah. But again, I do feel like
it's too much.
Yeah, I mean, it's two completely separate decisions, being made by two groups of people, and I don't immediately think that I don't immediately want to speculate about what's the overlaps, where I think you can say that it could be part of just Iswaran, he got worn down, basically.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to deal with the potential of it being even extended, right? Knowing that this, the judge already extended what they asked for initially.
Yeah.
But completely separate from what you have to do as a politician in the PAP or
people
or
already
elections.
typing. Wow,
I know, people are going to get angry. So I got my umbrella and everything ready because I have to just do the responsible thing and point out that it's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of a stretch.
But I mean, the important thing is you look at this statement and you look at his statement from 18th January, right? The tone of it is very different now, right? And you read that statement from 18th January, you really do feel like he's digging his trenches, he's getting down in the trenches and ready for a big, long, protracted fight. But this one is much more like, and the similarity between this statement today and that statement from 18th Jan is that he talks about how the past few months have been very difficult for his family, right? So both sides, you can tell that, his family is a very big consideration for him and what he's going to drag them through if he, continues to contest the trial. So I can see how maybe at some point if there's a concession or compromise made between prosecution and defense, maybe for him it's just like, you know what, I'll just take it lah.
Because I mean it has been 15 months. This is a long ass time, man.
Yeah.
But like he very, without a shadow of a doubt says, I reject the charges and the allegations against me.
Yeah.
As opposed to now, he's saying that he just wanted to clear the charges under the Prevention of Corruption Act. So yeah, I mean, like I still take some mini leaps. Some mini leaps I feel still valid. But yeah, just now it was a big leap. But in this case, I mean, I can imagine a lot of people being kind of like, that's it. This whole thing closed already. Right. The next thing will be him. Oh, actually today his sentence starts.
It starts at 4 p.m. actually. So actually he's not actually in prison yet. I think he's reporting at 4 p.m. Yeah. But I mean, on Friday, Ong Beng Seng got charged as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Ong Beng Seng, he got charged.
That one was, I was a bit surprised.
It was very quick. It was like a 10-minute thing in court, right? Yeah.
I mean, people commenting on his shirt and shit like that.
Yeah, a $500 shirt, right, or something.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, he was handed one charge each under Section 165 and Section 204 of the Penal Code. So Section 165 is the public servant obtaining valuables. So I think he's being charged with playing a part in that. And for the 204A charge, that is, he's being accused of abetting the obstruction of justice by intentionally aiding Iswaran to make payment for the something that he gave him.
Yeah.
So right. That I found surprising. That he was charged with, abetting a public servant in obtaining valuables and, intentionally aiding Iswaran to obstruct justice. But for you?
I mean, I'm waiting to see what unfolds in the case. Because, I want to see 165, as we talked about before Iswaran, there were no precedents, right? So we don't really know how, what kinds of punishments will be meted out for this and exactly what's the angle that they're going with, right?
Yeah.
So, because at the end of the day, he can just say that, I assume in my mind that a defense could be that he was just offering a gift to a friend, and he was not privy to the fact that his friend could not accept these gifts, and it was like violating an actual section of the penal code, right?
But that's where because Section 165 and I mean, based on what I find, it is an offense for a public servant to accept or obtain or agree to accept or attempt to obtain any valuable thing from someone who could be connected in proceedings of businesses linked to him or his official functions. So that means there probably are a lot of people who could be charged under this.
A lot of public servants, I think.
No, a lot of people who have maybe
offered gifts.
To a public servant. Because you can offer a gift, but in this case, I guess Iswaran didn't declare it. Because, I mean, I can imagine a lot of people do receive gifts in public service, but they declare it or give it to the office or something. But in this case, I thought it was surprising that he was charged with giving the gift that was accepted by the civil servant.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I thought, I'm kind of curious, how do you, what's going to be argued by the prosecution about this? Yeah.
Because the abetting of obstruction of justice, that one, feels a bit more, okay, you informed him and then you got someone from your team invoice Iswaran or his PA or something, right? That Iswaran paid back.
Yeah.
So it feels like, okay, you also took some steps to allow him to do it. But in this case, if you're just offering something, I don't know. But is there a date set for the trial or anything?
Yes, I believe so. But it'll probably be a while, right?
Pleaded guilty. The state courts.
You'll probably,
November 15 for a pre-trial
15.
conference on November 15.
Got it. But I did want to ask you also, right? What do you think of his Iswaran's statement where he's talking about he is indebted to his friends and grassroots leaders for the unstinting support? Unstinting and for that matter means
I don't even know
unwavering. I did look it up.
No, I guess unstinting is the root word stint. You got a stint for this short thing. So unstinting means it's not short.
It's not short. It's very...
What a word, man. Unstinting thing.
It's interesting. We always learn new words from all these statements of contrition,
So, people say, I got a stint at, that company.
Yeah.
But I got a unstinting gig at this other company. It's full-time employment.
No, but I did want to ask you, just based on what you hear people on the street, like anecdotal evidence, based on what you hear people talking about this Iswaran case.
Yeah.
Do a lot of people actually still supporting him? Do they believe he's innocent and that he's been a scapegoat and everything?
I mean, so when the people on the street that I've spoken to about it are friends and relatives.
You move within very elite circles,
Is it?
I'm asking you. Is that when you talk about your friends and?
Oh no, not at all. Yeah.
Okay.
Also because I haven't gone out much the past month, right?
Okay,
True. But I have heard some people say they feel sympathy for Iswaran. I haven't yet met anyone who said, they feel he. No, I actually have heard of some friends who feel that he was unfairly treated. In the sense it's a small thing, that's the way the world works and all. But I haven't met anyone who says, you know what, I really still stand, I think he's great and all.
But generally, do you find those people who support, or at least feel the sympathy for him, do they belong to a certain socio-economic status or something?
They're either aunties, older aunties.
Okay.
Or the more affluent kind of I would imagine, believe that they have achieved everything in life because of their own hard work.
Oh, really?
And even though no one, I don't think anyone ever achieves success just through their own hard work. There's a lot of other things that come into play. And they feel, this is the way the world works. What's the big deal?
Why do you think so? Because, my own experience is it kind of, it's those two extremes.
Same extremes.
Right? Yeah, where people either say that he's, he's just doing something that everyone does already, or the other side saying that he cannot make it, right? It's really like a black sheep kind of thing, right?
The first one is what?
Your experience, people are saying that,
that's the way the world works.
That's the way the world works, and it's unfair to be treat him like that, right? But the other side is like, wow, you really cannot make it and everything. Very few people are sort of are thinking that somewhere in between where maybe he slipped his mind or he forgot or he just was careless.
More compassionate,
Yeah. So I've just been thinking a little bit about why the reception has been so or is it to do with how the media is covering this story or what?
I would imagine the people who think he cannot make it. There's always going to be people who are angry at the establishment, angry at the government, and if they see someone kind of who already earn so much, taking this kind of stuff for free, I can imagine it touches a raw nerve, especially people who are grappling with, or everyone's grappling with rising costs and all that, right?
Yeah.
The ones who say that, this is the way the world works, that one, I also feel but the world works some way, but these are supposed to be the leaders who are whiter than white and morally, guiding us. I don't think they should be treated as equal as a regular citizen.
Oh, you don't think so?
Even they should be held to higher standards.
Higher standards.
Yeah, higher standards.
Yeah.
So that's how I would justify. But for you?
Yeah, the people that who actually see him as a black sheep are not necessarily people who are against the establishment. In fact, I know some people who are very pro-establishment who really think that he's a black sheep, and he has tainted the public perception of civil servants, So I don't know. Maybe it's more a matter of what you what you've read and what you actually believe from everything that you've read about him. Because I think there are some even public figures like Calvin Cheng and all who have come out and talked about, Iswaran's a friend and everything. And and he also points out very clearly about this Prevention of Corruption Act being amended, this charge being amended, right? That means he's not corrupt, but more like careless than corrupt. So I just find it quite curious why there's such this reception between the two.
As opposed to something that is a bit more neutral.
Yeah, maybe more neutral. Yeah.
But would you say Iswaran was one of the more popular politicians? To me, he was a politician who people maybe know of, but like there's nothing that he's anchored on, like any particular policy. Okay, F1.
Yeah.
But F1 also is like, it's how certain policies deal with health, like education. F1 is a bit too like glamour like that.
It's glamorous.
It's glamorous.
But Ministry of Transport, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're the last couple of years, we're seeing a lot of issues with the Ministry of Transport. Simply go ERP 2.0 and then the recent MRT breakdowns.
Yeah.
People also online have been pointing out that a lot of these things were already under Iswaran's watch, right? They happened about maintenance issues, about Simply Go, about ERP 2.0. So people are also saying that actually rather than point the finger at Shiok Tat, maybe they should be thinking about Iswaran as well, right?
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, maybe it also depends on where you sit on that fence in terms of what you think about Iswaran, right?
Yeah. But were you like, when you read that line, indebted to friends and grassroots leaders for their unstinting support, faith and encouragement, I know some people online were like who will support him and all. But if you've been working with someone so closely, if you know someone like pretty well, they might see it as, okay, he was just careless, he just do this. And everybody has like someone they know, a friend who, you know very well, but they just do something like stupid, and all. Do you just totally distance yourself from them, assuming they're not doing something like murder someone or a pedophile or something like? But if doing something stupid, something careless, I don't think you also would totally dissociate yourself from them.
Depends on what they're doing.
Oh, it depends on what lah.
Because you look at what's going on in Hollywood right now with
Diddy.
Everyone's being dragged in. Usher's being dragged in.
Justin
Bieber's being dragged in. Jay-Z's name is coming up. Everything. So everyone's like, how could all this have happened under everyone's noses, right? And all these celebrities all have kept quiet about it, or they, just been complicit in this whole thing. And it's kind of scary when you realize that, hey, it is possible for big groups of people to see that someone is doing something wrong, and still give their unstinting and unwavering support, right?
Yeah.
Or at least not even speak up about it and all.
So that makes a lot of sense when you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, right? I mean, he's still influential, right? He's going to jail. And if you've been working with him, you're in grassroots, you want to be there because
maybe
who knows what it might mean for you in future.
Oh, but he did say, as this chapter of my life comes to a close, I'm assuming he means politics, because he talks about serving his constituents. And then as this chapter of my life comes to a close. So I think he's done with politics already. He'll become a life coach after that. Life coach, that's possible. He'll have a lot of experiences.
A lot of experiences.
Yeah. Really, so he'll do a podcast. He'll start a podcast. He's been on podcasts before.
He'll start a podcast. But I mean, like, it's one of those things that I guess there's no other follow up, right? After this,
I guess so. If he's not appealing, so that's case closed. But let's see what happens with Ong Beng Sing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
With Ong Beng Sing.
Correct.
Cool, man.
But aside from this hoo-ha going on outside the state courts, there's also another, group of, or another institution, another set of institutions that also are have come under threat, right, by someone of something of great influence, right, coming into their customs and the traditions and all. And what is this institution?
It is a temple in Tampines. That was recently conducted a ceremony for the 9 Emperor Gods Festival, which I believe is a Taoist festival. Yes, it's a Taoist festival, where there were some pictures of these dolls that were dressed in traditional attire, normally worn by devotees. And the doll is a Labubu doll. And
Labubu.
what?
Labubu.
Labubu.
It's Labubu, right?
Oh, you don't pronounce the ow. Oh, is it?
I think it's just Labubu. Yeah.
Labubu.
Yeah.
So there was a video on TikTok that, it shows priests and other temple staff posing with the toys which are beloved by younger audiences. And some people online are saying, yo, this is too far, Why is it part of a religious festival?
Yeah.
So I had no idea of this Labubu doll. Did you know of this before you read this article?
I've been hearing a little bit about it here and there, right?
Now, what the hell is it?
I think probably someone will correct us if I'm not wrong, but I believe it's a series of dolls that was designed by a Hong Kong designer and then subsequently made very popular because he had a contract with Pop Mart, the blind box toy business, to produce these toys in large quantities around the world. And these Labubu got really popular when Lisa from Blackpink posted her holding one of the dolls as well as hanging one of the dolls from her handbag on Instagram. So it's become a thing where I think ladies who buy expensive handbags, this is another accessory to put alongside the handbag, like you hang it on your handbag. So it can, if I'm not wrong, it can come up to like thousands, hundreds of not thousands of dollars.
So he created it in 2015.
Part of a series of stories called The Monsters, and inspired by Nordic fairy tales. And it's basically like a monster, a very cute looking monster thing with like bunny ears and like teeth and like googly eyes, right? Big teeth, big smile, googly eyes. And they just dress them differently. And I think there are a lot of different collections that you can buy as well.
Yeah, so some people are saying that because it was the staff of the temple that actually put the dolls there. It wasn't just random devotees or something.
Correct.
And the temple chairman himself said that, the dolls were devotees. It's only disrespectful to the gods if they were used as sacrifices. So apparently, there were a lot of people who came to the temple to see the Labubu dolls after the TikTok video.
Yeah. Correct. And the Labubu dolls have not just infiltrated religion, they've also infiltrated politics. I think recently the Sengkang West teams Sengkang West of the PAP introduced the Labubu doll that's dressed in the PAP white uniform. And they unveiled it during one of their community events as well. And also there are TikTok videos about it.
So what do you think, Terence? Because the Taoism Association also hasn't said anything.
Yeah.
The chairman of the temple seems to be very intentional about their use of the Labubu dolls.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know like you're not the most religious. I'm also not the most religious. So, what would a not so religious person think, Terence?
I mean, it's just marketing, right?
Yeah.
It's just using this item for marketing. But the item itself doesn't have any like real meaning or what, right? So there's nothing to be that offended about.
But what if it's bringing a toy into the religious world, into like these traditional ceremonies,
Well, I mean, but it's more than just a toy, right? If it's something that is trending, is very popular, it'll be the equivalent of inviting an influencer to come to your church and everything, right?
You're objectifying influencers.
No, but it's the truth, right?
If it's like a fidget spinner, like they put incense sticks on a fidget spinner and then they spin.
Okay, then that's like messing around with the actual ritual itself, right? But this Labubu doll is just there as another follower, right? As another devotee. So yeah, I didn't see a big deal with it. Not my cup of tea. Not the kind of thing that I would bring along for any political or religious event if I was involved in either. But I don't see the big hoo-ha about it. How about you?
Yeah. I mean, I think to me it's like the reality of even temples. You want to get your message out there. You want to get people to, be part of your faith, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like every religions also, they have all these beliefs and all, but every religion out there does want to spread the message, right? So in this case, they're spreading the message. And I mean, you can even say they're quite progressive. in the sense that they are using these sort of things to open up the possibility of bringing younger folk into the religion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me also, I'm like, okay. Like, it's a marketing thing.
So you don't think any religious people, would be offended by this if, let's say, instead of being dressed as a devotee and everything, for example, this Labubu is dressed in the Pope's robes or something like that?
Oh, that one, I think people will be damn annoyed.
Oh, is it?
I can imagine people like in the Catholic, because this one, they're dressing the doll up as a devotee, right?
A follower,
which is like a follower, a faceless person.
Yeah.
But if you're dressing him, the doll up as the Pope, right?
Yeah.
That one, I think is I can totally imagine people getting damn pissed off.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I can imagine why they will get pissed off. There have only been like a handful of popes across like the hundreds of years, right?
Yeah.
Then you just put this doll in a pope's clothing.
And someone is a monster, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I can try at Christmas dinner, with my in-laws. I'll be like, my friend Terrence has this question. But I can guarantee you, like, it'll probably be seen as like, oh, that's not good, .
Because we've had that incident of a DJ who dressed up as a monk, right? Remember?
Oh, yeah.
DJ New Jeans Nim, who was supposed to perform in Singapore dressed as a monk. And he incorporated chanting and, Buddhist chants into his act. And that got banned, right? It got banned or he cancelled it or he didn't want to perform anymore. I think there is something to, even though you put the Labubu doll as part of a religious festival, but who is he dressed as for the religious festival matters.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, correct. Because as a follower, you are following the leaders of the religion.
Yeah.
But if you put the doll in the position of the
Leadership.
priest or the pastor or leadership, then it gets a bit tricky.
Or even as the god or something.
As
right?
the god.
As the god, even worse, right?
As the god, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
But politicians using it, you okay?
Marketing also.
Yeah.
I mean, politicians get on TikTok for what?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, to get the message out, to resonate with the youth. I can't imagine any politician thinking, you know what, this is really going to help in my thinking of policy and stuff. No, it's to reach the masses.
Yeah.
So in this case,
But I think the only thing is just understanding Labubu and what it represents also. The only thing I don't like about it is that it probably represents the most extreme forms of capitalism, right? The ultra luxury category of handbags and all that, right? People fighting and buying these collectibles and paying exorbitant amounts of money for it, right? It's a real representation of people who, a real representation of capitalism in some ways.
As in the Labubu doll?
The Labubu doll, right? It's placed in society now because it's very sought after. Apparently in Singapore, there were people fighting over it at the recent pop-up store. People were fighting over it. The police had to be called in. And, you go on Carousel, I think you can find some of these dolls for like up to thousands of dollars. So it does, to me, also represent the quite ultra-capitalistic world that we live in today.
But how is it different from, say, like a Apple Watch or something like that?
There is a function to an Apple Watch. I don't think the Labubu doll has a real function other than, showing off that you.
So it's somewhere like a handbag.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. So when I see a politician holding it and being so happy about it, I'm like, doesn't really represent what I think is important for politicians to do.
Because you don't like to join a community, Terrence.
You mean the elite? Don't want to join the elite.
But I mean, you mean every Labubu now is like fucking expensive, is it?
I don't know. Great question.
No, I think you can find it on Shopee.
Yeah. I'm sure you can. But there are a lot of different types of Labubus.
I guess it's like Hello Kitty lah.
Yeah.
So Hello Kitty, you get some that are super rare, right? But you can buy a Hello Kitty doll anytime, for cheaper lah.
Correct, yeah. So it's like you can see, if you see your politicians wearing sneakers, they can be wearing very cheap sneakers or they can be wearing very limited edition expensive sneakers, right? And there's a difference in your perception of them when you see what they wear as well.
Actually, the Labubus really look like Teletubbies, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Teletubbies and Labubu.
Yeah, in a way, I do. I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
Man, we got to design one of these, man. Because, I mean, they all follow a similar shape. Even Hello Kitty is like something similar to this.
Yeah, I just opened up Carousel and the Pop Mart Labubu big size pronounced Milan exclusive $588.
Whew. Then what's the other thing that's also shaped like this? The bear or the rabbit or something? You know, the other thing that people have.
Brick bear, is it?
Oh, brick bear.
Bear brick,
Bear
sorry.
brick. Brick bear.
We've just exposed our low SES lifestyle.
Labubu, bear brick.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. So that's the society we live in.
This is, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Insane. But yeah, man.
Yeah. Those are the two important things
Yeah.
that have been going on in Singapore recently. Iswaran and Labubu.
Labubu.
But yeah, speaking of important things, what is your one Shiok comment these last few days?
Do you have yours?
Let me just pull it up.
Yeah.
I have it on my YouTube.
I think I had mine also on my phone.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I'm pulling up also.
I see. I think on the last podcast, there were, like I mentioned, a lot of comments. I think the most recent one about Iswaran, where we are discussing the idea of leaps, right? So one of the commenters, Linley 4822, was saying, I'm curious as to how and why you deem this case as a one-off or isolated. On what basis? Your podcast is purposed by you and for you to play the role of the devil's advocate, and you have been doing fine, but I noted fear suddenly struck and gripped one of you midway through your show. Specifically, I refer to the repeated cautions, leaps. It will be interesting to know the reasons. True blue Singaporeans care for integrity in our society. Right? So I'm not shitting you. People are calling me out for sort of trying to just put a little disclaimer on some of the leaps of faith that you were taking, right?
So now you're going to get it again.
Yeah. But because I do think, that's just to address the point, I think it's important for us to point out when we are actually making assumptions, right? Assumptions and conjectures, right, about things.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we are discussing it out there already. We're putting it out there to discuss, but we are pointing out that these are, coming from us putting on our aluminium foil hats and everything.
Yeah.
And talking about things.
Yeah.
And we know as much as the next person who is commenting as well.
Yeah.
So don't hate the player, hate the game. We're just messengers.
I mean, in some way, that was why we kind of started this podcast, right? To kind of be able to talk about these things that we hear or we even feel, but being able to balance it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that is super important because now you see online or even in person, you get these echo chambers where everybody just agrees on one thing. It could be conservative, it could be speculative, but you don't want to go down there. So it is part of yalla, but otherwise it'll just be yalla.
Correct, yeah. And I would say, if anything, I'm also a damn big conspiracy theorist, right?
Yeah.
Maybe even more so than you.
Yeah.
But because you mentioned something, so I had to play the devil's advocate by pointing out, we are taking leaps.
Because the moment we hit cut, Terrence like, hey, he's leaping all over the place.
I got the whole board with the red threads everywhere. And
that's right.
Yeah. But the idea of being a devil's advocate is that we also have to point out where certain things are conjectures, right?
Yeah, because sometimes I also kind of take angles that maybe I don't believe in, but just for the sake of looking at it from another angle, we just challenge each other. So we are always going to be leaping and, whoa.
Yeah.
Pulling them back from that was just a drill in case you guys can hear that.
Yeah.
From a neighbor, starting at a time when he shouldn't be drilling.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, so my one Shiok comment was actually something I saw on Spotify comments from a few months ago. It is from Ayu_Adams. Love this podcast, so local, so relevant, and so talk. I listen to you guys on my surround system during my evening beauty routine after a long day. So therapeutic. Lol, keep going. Wow, during an evening beauty routine on surround sound.
Wow, awesome, man.
Yeah, so I mean, thanks for that, man. It's always interesting to hear stories of how people listen to us. So I know last time we spoke about this, people do listen to us when doing work. I don't understand how they do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for the listens, yo.
Yeah. But hopefully the sound of the drilling doesn't ruin their what do you call it? Me time.
Yeah, that's right. Their beauty routine. Their beauty routine.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And what about your one Shiok Thing, man?
My one Shiok Thing is this series of videos done by a YouTuber named Nathaniel Drew. He's basically like a Matt DeVilliers kind of character who was doing a lot of videos about digital minimalism and running all these experiments by himself. And then I think for a while he moved from the US to Paris. And then more recently, he decided he's going to sell his apartment in Paris and move to the French countryside. So he's started doing this series of vlogs, I guess you can call them, vlogs or videos, talking about his decision to move to the French countryside. And it's been a while since I watched a YouTube vlog, right, that was about someone's life and felt like, oh, this is really something quite interesting, thinking about where he is in his life and how he wants to pursue his life. So, because I think we're all used to watching Casey Neistat kind of vlogs and things like that, but this guy is really just going through his thought process of why he decided he wants to move away from the city to a more rural lifestyle and what it means for him in his life and his career. So it's just a very nice throwback to being in your 20s and just like the world is your oyster and you can really decide what you want to do, because he's got no obligations, no like family or wife or anything like that to take care of, right?
Yeah.
But he's just like, thinking about where he wants to be in life. And I just really enjoyed watching this series where he talks about like the house and everything that he's choosing and why he chose that house.
Nathaniel Drew, is it?
Yeah, Nathaniel Drew. So yeah, I don't know, man. It just like brought me back to the days of being like, feeling like I was in my 20s and like, the world's your oyster and you can decide to live and do whatever the hell you want.
And just, go to a rural area, just go, man.
Yeah. But he also talks about that, the mindset that that he has in America, I think he's American if I'm not wrong, but the mindset of like, oh, you got to be productive and every step of your life has to be planned out properly, compared to what he's learned over his life living in different parts of Europe as well, right? So it's been a while since I watched like a vlog and actually enjoyed it. So this one's cool.
Oh, and it's quite cool cinematography also.
It is. And he talked about being a one-man show now. Like he used to have a team of people trying to do YouTube videos for him. Then he really decided he just wants to do it by himself. And yeah, he's just been doing it by himself for all this while.
Oh, he films all not in the 16:9.
Yeah. He uses like interesting like aspect ratio and all that as well.
Oh shit, this is cool,
just
man.
defies all these conventions of what you think a YouTube vlog should be.
His latest video is my 175-year-old house.
Correct. Yeah, so that's the latest
French
in the
countryside.
series. Yeah, was moving to the French countryside.
Man, this looks cool.
Yeah. So there's just something, and he talks about a bit about why he made the decision, moving from inner city to the suburbs and then now to the countryside. So it's just an interesting thought process of something that, in Singapore, we don't even think about that, right? Because
countryside, Pongo.
We're all inner city or
city fringe.
City fringe or outskirts, but it's all centered around the city. So it's just an interesting...
and how did you come across this?
No, I've been following him because of his like digital minimalism and stuff, like videos about those kind of things. But I think as he's grown and become older, he talks more about just being in his 20s and 30s, I'm not sure, and just living like how he lives his life.
Oh shit! So photography is cool. Man.
Yeah, I've enjoyed watching the videos a lot more than I thought I would. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Cool. Okay, cool. Mine is another one of these fun websites that I came across that, I mean, not to say that I go very often, but I just thought, hey, this is a damn cool idea. Yeah. It is called clicktheredbutton.com. So basically, right, this person who created it, they took the idea of like a TV and they just have these 4 buttons at the bottom and a big red button in the middle. Okay. And you can choose videos, games, art, or there's one more category. And it just functions like changing the channel on TV. Yeah. So if you click the red thing, it would just show something random. Yeah. And it's like your channel surfing. So I just thought, hey, like, yeah, you can build like gimmicky websites or something, but I just thought this is a very interesting thing that is quite fun.
And it just serves you a bunch of ads also at the same time.
Oh, yeah. So I'm guessing it's probably making a good amount of money, but yeah, I just thought, and especially, when you change the channel last time, you'll see it is like fucking like static thing. Yeah. I saw this, I can't remember how I came across, but I thought this is a damn fun website.
Yeah.
It's just, like if you're bored, you just click and then you just see things.
What are you doing finding all these websites? I thought you're supposed to be looking after a baby and everything.
I mean, sometimes you need to be distracted, right? No, I think it's because I subscribe to some newsletters that talk about these cool websites that they've come across, and I always find these kind of things super interesting.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, hey, shit, this is just you can imagine one person built it, and it's just running there, and it's just thought it's a bit retro also, so it's a nice feel.
Very retro.
So it's called clicktheredbutton.com. Oh, and on that note, I saw a few comments on Spotify, people saying, oh, can you put the links for the one Shiok thing and all? The links are always in the show notes and always in the description. So
you just need to scroll.
You just need to scroll, you need to scroll because there's a lot of info in our show notes and descriptions, but the links are always there. But that's all we have for today, man.
Yeah, but speaking of links being always there, if you want to work with us, do check out ministryoffunny.com. That's where you find contact details.
Yeah. And follow us on social media, Instagram, TikTok. We have a wonderful subreddit. And thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you all soon.